Hey guys, so Dax here, and today I'm bringing you with a proper, regular Vanguard video. So yeah, today I'm going to be doing a deck profile. I know I haven't done one in a while, because stuff. Anyways, yeah. So I'm bringing you a deck profile on Darkface. So the technical booster came out like a week ago. Yeah. And Darkface got like some really good support for it. I will be doing a machining one, machine deck profile, but that's going to be after the Busher World Championship regionals in Toronto, so you won't see that till later. So right now I'm going straight to the deck. So starting Vanguard, we start with the new one, Childhood Command Rosenberg. So he's the forerunner, and he has the new keyword, which is Dark Device. So Dark Device is the skill that when your opponent has no rested units in the same column as this unit, they can use the skill or whatever, like something like that. And it even works if your opponent doesn't have any units in the same column. So yeah. So his skill is Dark Device. Put him to soul. You choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and until the end of the opponent's turn, it gets the skill. That card cannot intercept, and it cannot be chosen by card effects or costs for your cards. So basically, it prevents intercepting, which is good because then they have to just guard with their hands, and then cannot be chosen by card effects. So triggers are nullified if you're playing like Great Nature or not really Great Nature, more Shadow Paladin. Then they can't retire their units to activate their skills. So yeah. And then his second ability is rest this unit. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and rest it, or one of your opponent's units and rest it. So it can be their Vanguard too. So that's pretty good and stupid. So yeah, Rosenberg. For grade 3s, grade 3s obviously it's going to be for Darkface, GB2, Soul Blast 2. When your opponent calls something to the rear guard, you pay the cost. If you do, rest that unit. And then Counter Blast 1, when you stride on top of Darkface, you choose. I can't even read it. Hold on. You choose 2 of your opponent's rear guard, rest them until the end of your opponent's turn. They get the ability at the end of your turn. If this unit is at rest, your opponent may draw a card. Then those units cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase. So basically, the stride skill basically just stuns your opponent's unit, and also give them the additional skill that, oh, if they're arrested at the end of your turn, I get to draw cards. So awesome. So yeah, for Darkface, this is the Darkface deck, so you're going to need him a lot. Then backup grade 3 is the Breakride Cyclomatooth. Stupidly good. I like him. When you Breakride, your Vanguard gets plus 10k, and then rest all your opponent's units, and all your opponent's units cannot stand during their next stand phase. This is ridiculous. That's why I decided to run him. Other than I don't run the other ones because I don't really like them that much. I know what's his face, Superior Mantis, like Generation Break 1, Counter Blast 1, you can stun your opponent's unit in the same column for Dark Device, and then he has also another Dark Device when he's placed, you can do that. But other than that, I don't really like him. I like Cyclomatooth more because the Breakride is there. When you Breakride, you rest all your opponent's unit, and all the opponent's units can't stand next turn, so that's really good. So yeah, and then his other ability is all of your opponent's units are rested. He gets plus 2k, so he's a 13k attacker. But yeah, I like Cyclomatooth a lot. For grade 2s, for Amber Clone's Sweet Cocktail, Generation Break 1, Counter Blast 1. When she attacks and she's boosted, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, rest it until end turn. That unit gets until end turn. If this opponent is arrested, you may draw a card. Then until end turn, it can't intercept and it cannot stand during the next step phase. So yeah, that hasn't changed. This card hasn't changed. It's still in the deck. So yeah, what next has changed with this really good card for Punish Stags. Punish Stag is really good. It's like stupidly good. So Generation Break 1, Dark Device. When this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a Vanguard with Darkface in its name, this card gets plus up 2k, so he's the Glimmer clone kinda. And then choose one of your opponent's rearguard, and until the end of the next opponent's next turn, it gets the skill. The unit gets the skill. At the end of your turn, if this unit is rested, your opponent gets to draw a card, and it can't stand during your next stand phase. So yeah, basically it's a smaller version of Darkface because you're giving it the Darkface skill that if it's still rested, you draw a card. So basically, your opponent's going to either have to your opponents have to get rid of that rear guard if they don't want your opponent to draw a card. So yeah, and 11k attacker, so he doesn't need to be boosted, which is good. So yeah, thumbs up for that. And then finally, last grade 2's 3 Aristscythe. Just so yeah, 3 Aristscythe, skill, Vanguard or rear guard, dark device. When this unit attacks, she becomes 11k attacker, which is pretty dope. Good thing about it that it's not generation break restricted, so once you it can go live right away. If you ride her to grade 2, you have 11k attacker for that one turn. If you decide to rush, you have a whole bunch of 11k attackers. So yeah, other than that, nothing much else to say about her. So grade 1s, 4 stride neighbors because you need to stride. Next, 4 Vulcan Lafertei. Okay, close enough. He's really good. He is your counter charger. So skill, dark device. Put this unit to soul at the beginning of your main phase. You may pay the cost. If you do, so counter charge 1. And that's it. Really good. Really good. Timing is kind of weird because it's right after you stride, but the stride skills will have to go off first, then you can put him to soul. So yeah, just remember timing wise, so because it's at the beginning of your main phase, so before you even call anything or use your axial. Then his second skill is that if you have a Vanguard with Darkface in his card name, this unit cannot be chosen by card effect by your opponent's card, and your opponent's unit in the same column, this unit cannot intercept. So basically, a pseudo resist, and because you only get the resist part if you have Darkface Vanguard, and then your opponent can't intercept, which is hey, have fun with that. Cool, yeah, already. 2 Machining Mosquitoes. This is a Darkface deck, and you need Soul. So skill is when this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard. If you have a Mega Colony Vanguard, you can Soul Charge 1. So yeah, Soul Charging you really essential in this deck. You need the Soul in order to use Darkface's GB2, which can screw people over. So yeah, 2 Machining Mosquitoes. And finally, 4 G Perfect Guards, 1 SP, because woot. So yeah, perfect guards are perfect guards. That's all. And finally, trigger lineup. 8 crits for the Darkface crit, especially the Darkface crit because it goes into your soul. You draw a card, go into soul. Good thing for soul because then you can use GB2 skill. I don't know why I did that. For the new stand, the new stand is pretty good. Dark device, generation break 1. Put this unit into your soul at the end of the turn. At the end of each turn, you may pay the cost. If you do, you can counter charge 1. Then you choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less units, and that unit cannot stand during your next stand phase. So yeah, not too bad. You get the counter charge off, which is good. You stun a unit. Probably you can stun one of their boosters, which is pretty good. But I don't like the fact that it goes into your soul. Well, I guess because it's Darkface, you kind of need the soul, but I wish it actually goes back into the deck because you already have the crit trigger that goes into the soul already. So, but again, I'm not going to complain because Darkface does need the soul. And then 4 heal triggers because you want to heal and you need G Guardians, which is the new thing. So yeah. And now off to the G zone. So first off, For Merciless Mutant Deity Darkface and then 1 SP because cool. So skill is Carablast 1 and choose a card face down. Choose a face down card from G-Zone and turn it face up. Choose the same number of opponent's rear guards as the same number of this card face up in your G-Zone. And then until the end of your opponent's next turn, they get this. Those units get the skill. This card cannot intercept and cannot be chosen for card effects or costs. And then for each rear guard that has been chosen by this effect, he gets plus 5k. So he's pretty good. Good, works well with the Darkface, the normal Darkface, because the fact that you can't intercept, you forces your opponent that they can't intercept, which is really good. Doesn't mean they have to guard from their hand. It can't be chosen by card effects, so triggers are nullified. And if you're playing against Shadow Paladins, they can't choose their cards to retire, which is pretty good. Then plus 5k is plus 5k. It's just more cards they need to drop to guard. So yeah, overall pretty good card. Next, to Paraspear. This is like, he's really good. Honestly, if your opponents have three or more rested units, you draw a card, and he gets plus 5k. The important part is you draw a card. That's the important part. You draw a card. That's why we don't run draw triggers, because this deck itself already kind of draws a lot, especially if you can get off the Darkface and the Stag, Punish Stag. It is a Stag, yeah. So Punish Stag skills, and you get to draw a card. So yeah. Next, to Straggle Dipper. He's a really good card, especially if your opponent has a full field. Carablast 1 and flip anything up from your G-Zone. Choose up to 3 of your units, and they each get plus 1,000 power for every rested unit in your opponent's side of the field. So at most you're going to get a plus 6. Unless they're playing Legion, then you're going to get a plus 7. This is really good. I like this card a lot. It just like it basically buffs up your field, and it's like stupidly good. To Obtirandus, yeah, I kind of went out and blinged them. So yeah, this card is really stupid actually. This card is really good if you're playing against decks that superior calls or calls a lot, like Royal Paladins, Grand Blue, Pale Moon, anything that just like calls in general. Skill is Generation Break 2, Carablast 2, and discard a card from your hand. Your opponent cannot call units into the rearguard circle until the end of their next turn. That includes superior calling. You just basically locked out your opponent's field for like the next who knows how many turns. For next turn, they only could attack with whatever units they have on the field, unless you stun them, which you probably are going to do with Darkface. So yeah, stupidly good card. Only a 2-up because it is Carablast 2 and you are discounting a card. So yeah. Then 1 Waspy Tail. This is just a throw-in card. Actually, this is more of a flip target for Darkface, because Darkface is flip any copy. But for your first time you stride the Darkface, you're going to flip a copy of himself. Then when you stride Darkface again, you can flip you can flip this over. Doesn't really matter. So yeah. But her skill is Soul Blast 1. Then flip anything. When this unit attacks hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's units and all your opponent's rearguard units in the same column and row as the Vanguard or rearguard that was targeted cannot stand until you're at the opponent next stand phase. So you can basically hey, I choose that, I choose this, then this column, and then this row can't stand next turn. Have fun with that. So yeah, it's kind of It's kind of because it's on hit. Usually your opponents won't let you hit anyways. It's meh. Honestly, I think Darkface is the better first stride. So yeah, she's more of a flip target. So yeah. One Sebreeze because your deck is Generation Break. So yeah, but like if your opponent can't stride, if your opponent's playing grade 2, you can just run into him and just get your stuff live. Mostly for Punish Stag, because Punish Stag is important. Sweet Cocktail is important. Lafertei for the counter charging. So yeah, a lot of these the key cards you need are Generation Break 1. So running the Sebreeze is important. But if you already strode, if your opponent's already strode and you strode, then he's a flip target for the Darkface. On to G Guardians. 2 of the Fighters Collection G Guardians. So when he's placed onto the Guardian Circle, if your opponent has 2 or more resting units, he gets plus 5k shield. It is reliant on what your opponent field is, but most of the time they should be rested, so you should be able to get the plus 5k unless like they rarely call any rear guards to the rear guard circle. Like that kind of happened to me when I played against a Dark Regular deck. And then finally 2 Grisfort. Basically, it's pseudo-esque to Defeat Flare in a way. So her skill is Cannon Blast 1. When these units placed on the Guardian Circle during the battle that your Vanguard is being attacked by your opponent's Vanguard. So same thing, just like Defeat Flare. You may pay the cost. If you do, you rest all of your opponent's units in the back row. So kind of like Defeat Flare, where Defeat Flare retires the back row. She just rests the back row. And then she gets plus 5k shield for every 2 units that are rest in your opponent's side. That's the difference between Defeat Flare. Defeat Flare doesn't get any like shield boosts. She does for every 2. So if your opponent attacks with their Vanguard first, then you rest the back row. That's already a plus 10k shield. It's not too bad. But yeah, the plus 5k is reliant, again, just like the Fires Collection one, is really reliant on what your opponent has on the field. So yeah, it could be a good 25k shield. If there's like 6, that's a 30k shield. So yeah, 7, that doesn't even matter if there's 7. So a full field rest, that's you become a 30k shield. So yeah, not a bad card. Just a 2-of because I don't think you really need 4. Like, it's Cannon Blast 1, and this one is already good enough as well. So yeah. And yeah, that is it for this deck profile, guys. Sorry if I kind of ramble and didn't explain stuff too well. It is like I just kind of woke up already. I kind of woke up, so I'm kind of and yeah. Well, other than that, Darkface is a pretty fun deck to play, especially if you any Mega Colony deck is like fun because it screws around with your opponent, and they're gonna have a bad time. But yeah, so that's it for the deck profile. I'm snapping because I'm trying to think of what I'm about to say. Oh yeah, so next week there will be a deck profile coming out next week. It's just it might come out later or earlier. I'll probably record on that Sunday, so it's fine. So yeah, so next week there'll be a deck profile. It's gonna be on Machinings, and I'll probably also make a Let's Talk, even though nobody kind of watches it, about what happened at the Bushiroad World Championship in Toronto. So yeah, yeah, but that's it for this deck profile, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.